Hi y'all, welcome to our YouTube VOD watchers, and hello to our podcast listeners. When'd you get here? We were just, wow, that's amazing. Look at that. Content creation magic right here. But from here, I do also want to thank our sponsors for tonight. We have, starting us off, The Crafty Gamer. The Crafty Gamer makes super lovely scented candles, sense of adventure, aromas of adventure. I always get that wrong. Alliteration is better. I should default to that. Okay, but they have really cool stuff, and they just recently opened their first brick and mortar store. So huge congrats to them. And you should go check out all the cool stuff they have. They also have additional like ttrpg accessories like laser engraved coasters and all really cool things. So go check them out on thecraftygamer.com. You can use the link in chat if you so like, and use code WafflesMapleSyrup at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. That helps them, that helps us, and it means a lot. So if you like it, go check it out. Also, AlchemyRPG. Heard of them? For our YouTube viewers, that's the platform we're playing on. Thank you, Alchemy, for your support tonight and for this gorgeous platform, which we are. It really does just make the atmosphere just take it to the next level. And my graphic designer heart is always happy with the gorgeous designs that we have here. So thank you also for supporting us, and y'all should go check them out and play cool games on there. And I think there's cool stuff coming down the pipeline, which has been teased about on social media but hasn't really been said, so I'm not gonna say it. But you know, keep your eyes out. Who knows what cool things happen with Alchemy? They're busy. Oh, and they just wrapped up their Kickstarter, which blew things out of the water and was on the front page. And listen, they're just having a ball over there, and you should go party it up with them, is what I'll say. That is it for our sponsors tonight. And I don't know that we can delay the inevitable much longer because there's mysteries that need solving tonight. We need to know where Loch was last session. Where mysteriously missing. And I, for one, want to know. So let's hit that beautiful intro video and we'll catch you in just a little bit to get into the action. See you soon. Hello. So, we take a moment to step back in time. Cold open, let's go. To when our group exited the bookshop back into a cold, early evening, late afternoon. Rain and chill sweeping through as the boarded up bookshop's warm light no longer poured out onto the cobblestone path. Loch. You take a moment as Fern and Mayfire say their goodbyes to reflect on the last couple hours. An unexpected fight, danger, rush of adrenaline. That's always fun. The threat of a plot, of something big. The chance to pull on that thread, follow it, see what unravels. That's always exciting. And when everyone starts walking back towards the docks, you push aside that strange discomfort in your chest. It's fine. You're fine. This group is fine. You find yourself trailing a little behind the group as you approach back the way you first came. The docks. The smell of salt in the air as the wind picks up and the fog rolls in. You reminisce to when sea fog was first explained to you, how the last warmth of humid air is pulled in from the land and hits the cooling waters, the wind rolling it and shifting it. And there, with your head lost in memories, you swear you see it. A flash of a red coat. A silver trim. You jolt from your thoughts and step forward, trying to get a better look. The breeze shifts the air, and stepping out of denser fog is a human woman wearing a red coat that she pulls tighter against the chill. Short, not long. And less of a silver trim, really, you realize as you get a clearer look, a bit bronze, maybe. You shake your head, trying to clear it, but you're not quite successful as you feel the thudding in your heart, in your chest. Because for a moment, just a moment, you thought it was someone else. Not moments later, the group first sets their sights on the bluefin, and you hear drifting out across the water the chatter and the clinks of glass, the slight errant tune of a fiddle, also familiar in its own way, also a memory. And the thought of going in there right now with this crew, with a new goal and a new adventure, your heart is beating so fast it starts to hurt and you stop in your tracks. You make some quick, half-hearted excuse. You just need to get something you forgot on the boat. You'll catch up. Though a few dubious or surprised and confused looks are shared, they let you go. You turn and start to walk away, not paying too much attention to where. You just need a breath. You meander down one of the emptier docks, only a few small boats tied along it, and facing out you can watch them bob gently, occasionally bumping against the wood. You breathe, trying to calm your heart rate. You watch the water and the heavy dark rain clouds that seem to be intensifying. What's going on in your mind right now, Loch? Why does the thought of starting this new adventure with new friends filling you with such fear?
I think Locke is very much lost in thought at all. Like you said, it's been very rapid fire the last couple hours. Not even like a whole day. It's just a couple hours, right?
Yeah, it's been about a half a day. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. He sort of agreed with to come out to Chrysalia.
To Fano.
Fano. He agreed to come out to Fano just to sort of get his like mentor, father figure kind of off his back. Just like, sure, why not? I'll go to Fano. Let's make it happen. And then there's just been a lot recently that's reminded him of his past. It reminded him of life on his old ship with his old crew, and he's confused because he's excited about what is gonna come next.
Mm-hmm.
He's not trying to like discredit what he went through on his old ship and how he is still very unsure as to the outcome of or like the whereabouts, I guess would probably be a more precise way to say that, of his crew and his ship.
You sit there lost in these thoughts, being like, okay, I came here because I was supposed to, or because I said I would, but then this happened, and as you're thinking all these thoughts and kind of trying to parse through what exactly is going on, you feel the rain start to hit the docks and hit you, and you look up again and you kind of focus on those rain clouds that are intensifying, and you think of the one thing that has connected you from then till now. Even then, when you first learned of Deep Chrysalis and to washing up at that monastery that just so happened to also worship the same god. And now the rain hits you just as you are lost in this thought and confusion. And it's welcoming, a little calming. And you take that moment to just offer up a prayer and kind of look forward. As the rain hits the docks and you focus in on just the sound of the wood and the rain, and you focus on dropping all those anxieties and all of those worries, you come to think, okay, you don't have all the answers to what happened before you. And it's scary to think that you're continuing on a new adventure without being done with the first. And it's that moment of that connection and that focus on the rain and the storm and your god that you recognize that it's not a bad thing to close that chapter. And you kind of think back to the bookstore that you were just in, and how just moments ago there was another person that had to close a different chapter in their lives and move forward with it. And you also take comfort that that doesn't mean that it can't be reopened, that a new chapter can't relate to the old one. You don't know where this will take you. But you have a guidance, you have a figure that has connected you and brought you through all of these moments in your life and will continue to. And you feel your heart start to go back into a normal rhythm. And as you look back across, you see the mist kind of perfectly part a ways to see, oddly like diagonally across the docks. And you see the light of the Bluefin Tavern. And when you hear through over the waters the echoes of the glass again, and the fiddle and the singing and the cheering and all sorts of conversations and laughter and shouts, you think maybe starting this new adventure with new friends will take you somewhere new that you've never experienced before. And to stop so holding on to, oh, this is like this was before, this was like this was before. Yes, it's a tavern and you've been to taverns before, but this is different and this is a new one, and who knows what you'll find inside.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. I think with that realization, he kind of smiles, and I imagine him standing like at the tip of a dock, like kind of as far out as he possibly can go. And he takes like a deep breath, and then like leans forward and falls into the water, and just like lets himself like sink down for a while, and then like I don't know if maybe I'm just strange like this, but like a lot of times when I go swimming, I'll like go underwater and turn up and like look at the water underneath, like the top of the water underneath. He does that, and I imagine there's like he can see like the rain hitting the surface of the water, maybe like a flash of lightning or so, and just in that silence and in that like deep, calming place, I think it feels very at peace, and he accepts that yes, this is a turning point, and moving forward it's not just the only step. It is a very exciting, and he's looking forward to it basically. And then he swims back up, dodging the Merquois, and gets on the dock and walks back very slowly towards the Bluefin.
Right. With that sort of coming out of the water and like all of that just kind of dripping off of you, stray algae, and you're like, oh, Merkwad, no, okay, no, I'm good, that's fine. Oh, and you know, like, oh, that's a rope. Okay, that's fine. And
just a
you
snake.
kind
It's
of,
fine.
it's fine. And kind of emerging from that water, you feel a sense of resolve and excitement, and allow yourself to put away that, not only that fear of perhaps it's a fear of letting go of the past, of saying like, okay, I'm okay with moving forward with this and not finding out what happened. You kind of steel yourself, get a little excited, and make your way to the Bluefin Tavern. And as you do, and the sounds grow louder, and you swear as you get closer, you hear this like outright like cheer and like outcry of like, yeah, like go through like the entire.
That was so loud.
That was perfect.
That wasn't supposed to be that loud. I'm sorry.
Go through the tavern, and you open the door. And you see, like, you take a second to figure, like, all right, what am I walking into? And inside this space is a crowd. Like, the whole space seems to be focused, like, to your right, where, okay, there's Hex, there's Langston. They seem to be, like, gathering money from the crowd. They're like they're talking in people, and like they take a second before they even notice you. And then you see over to your like right, there's this little tent, but past that tent there is someone who is getting up from a table on the stage. That's Kay. That's Kay who's coming back with everybody. Okay. And then you turn around to go start walking towards their general direction, when suddenly to your left you hear a loud booming voice of you, and you turn to see a familiar face, one you haven't seen in a long time. And just as you were ready to close the chapter of your previous life, is someone from your previous life.
Ah, perfect.
I was just okay.
Looks almost close. And we're back up.
We're
All right,
back.
cool. Let's go.
And there is the recognizable figure of Captain Redfall.
Ooh, hello.
And he looks angry.
Oh no!
So Kay and Hex, as well as Langston, you all see this, and you know, almost as you focus on like, oh hey, Loch is he's sopping away. Oh, okay. You get distracted by the same call out, and then already before y'all like are making a move, Captain Redfall is striding across the crowded bar with purpose and a little concerning towards Loch. What are y'all doing?
Loch just stands unflinchingly, like put hands on bunny hips, ears twitching maybe a little bit, maybe wipe some of the water out of his eyes. But in his mind, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, behind this person approaching you, she goes, oh, look, you made it. And like, so two very different attitudes, but because she's sort of standing behind this guy, it's like one very angry, it's like the drama, comedy and tragedy faces.
Yes.
Just like approaching you at the same speed with the same vigor.
Wonderful.
And then Kay, are you also joining this
Yeah, Kay's kind of like matching his stride, maybe a little slower, but to like parallel on the other side of the bar, 'cause since they were like at the table, just to make sure like they're there if something happens. But they also have exhaustion currently, so.
Oh.
Forgot about that.
Oh no.
Doof a doof.
So you all sort of convene at the same time, but now mind you, like Hex and Kay, like I don't know, like you may be happy to see Loch, but this is Captain Redfall is like he has a furious look on his face, and he is walking towards like you're not quite sure what he's going to do.
Yeah, I think Hex only realizes that once she gets there, and then it's just like, oh god, it's like the two approaching forms from either side, and she's like, oh, and she just sort of like slips a little bit back from them.
Shadows.
Yeah.
So Captain Redfall crosses through, and people part out of his way, even though there was a pretty large crowd gathered towards the Kinscrap tent. And you also notice quite easily that this is not normal, and because everybody loves Captain Redfall, and he's the guy that everybody like always hangs out with. There's drama. Eyes are on you from like all over. He closes the distance towards you, Loch, and before you are able to kind of like he doesn't stop. And he basically puts a hand on your, like, he's a big guy, and he has a hand on your shoulder, but it's basically, like, on your chest, too, and is just pushes you and shoves you against, like, the door frame, the closest wall, basically, to you. And he just, with anger in his face, says, what are you doing here?
It's good to see you too, Captain Redfall. Well, he like reaches up his hands and like squeezes out water from his hood, like tries to like he's like, I was going swimming, but now I think, and he kind of looks around the rest of the tavern and says, I think we're looking for a captain.
That's kind of when Captain Redfall recognizes, like, oh, Hex came in as well as Kay, as well as Langston, and he's like, is this who you were waiting for?
Yes, the highly experienced seaman.
Absolutely.
Sea bun.
Yes. Thank you. Seagon. It's fine.
Sounds
like a Pokemon.
Yeah. He kind of steps back and spits on the ground and says, I'm not sailing anywhere with you.
Thought we might, yes.
What did he do to you? No offense, she says.
No, it's fine. I technically...
What did he do to his former captain?
Right. That's also a good story. Maybe over a round of drinks we could talk this out.
I think at that, Loch stands up straighter and actually tries to push the captain back, or Captain Redfall back, and he just says, "Now you're talking about things you don't know about. So I suggest you hold your tongue, or I'll hold it for you." It sounded better in my head.
Kay, as you're kind of a little more like you've definitely joined and like you're just a touch removed. Just you're in that with everybody, but you're just a little bit further back than everyone else. A voice suddenly kind of whispers into your ear and says, "We don't want this kind of attention. If I can encourage us to move this to private." And you look to your right, and there's Mayfire. And you did not hear her come up, but she seems to be like not happy that all eyes are on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Kay will nod silently and take a step forward and say, "Right, a round of drinks. a talk in private. Y'all can fight it out if you want. I think we should move it to the back.
Loch just stares, daggers.
And Redfall has been staring right back during this time, and you see this processing, and you also can smell that he's had a couple drinks already, which, not much for this big dude, but he's just kind of processing, and he's staring at you and says, "You're the first one of her crew I've seen."
Mm-hmm.
You're saying you have any information, and if it wasn't you, you're going to tell me everything you know.
I can tell you everything I know, but and he looks to Kay and he says, "I think we should move this to a booth or some. We're blocking people. You're being very rude right now."
Mayfire kind of steps forward and is just like, "Follow me," and just turns around and kind of cuts through the crowd towards the bar, to just take this convo, hoping that y'all will take this convo. And if y'all go, Captain Redfall will follow with you. Eyes are on you. As you approach towards the bar after Mayfire, there is this moment where she kind of just leans over onto the counter ahead of y'all before you guys arrive, and she just talks to one of the twins and points towards basically where people have coming in and out of the kitchens. There's stairs behind the bar downstairs. And they kind of you can tell just based on reactions which one of the twins as Paradigm's there's just this defensive oh, I don't know, and then this money that's exchanged hands, and then she kind of waves them down, and then waves Mayfire down. Y'all join and y'all follow, and you hear called up behind you, "Don't fight and don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong."
So as we're sort of making our way through the tavern, Nox, God, I keep on calling her Nox. Hex is just kind of taking everything in as they go. And there are a couple of eyes still sticking on us, and she goes, "Lovers quarrel. I'll update you if anything spicy happens." And she reaches down and takes somebody's drink and just leaves a couple silver on their thing to replace it.
Amazing.
Because she doesn't have time for that. Appears down the stairs with everybody else.
Perfect. Is there... Hold on, let me see. I know things. Make a persuasion or some kind of charisma check for me to see if this rumor sticks, because we love spreading random rumors.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Well, altogether, that is a dirty 20.
Heyo.
Perfect. You say lovers quarrel, and the look that crosses this person's face is what? And even as you swipe this drink, that Captain Redfall is a figure that people know. And he constantly tells stories about all his adventures, and to hear something about Captain Redfall, not from Captain Redfall, that's too juicy to possibly pass up. And you have a feeling by the time you come back up, that will be well and spread.
Yeah. Hey,
Success.
So you all basically file down these stairs after Mayfire?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. So you pass through the bar and head down. At the end of the stairs, there's a corridor that extends behind a round door hidden within the stage. That's kind of where you entered when you go down these stairs. And while lantern lights the passage, the curved staircase it leads to descends into darkness. And there in this hallway, there's these framed posters that hang on the wall and advertise vintage playbills for wonderful productions that graced the theater stage long ago.
Ooh.
As you walk through here, glancing around. I will say, Loch, you're probably a bit distracted.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't care about posters.
But
right now.
Hex and K make me perception checks.
That's a natural 1. That's good in this game, right?
Good.
Yeah. Golf scores.
A natural
Golf D&D.
16 for a 14.
Nice.
Well, -2. Perfect.
-2? Oh, no.
It's
We're
good though.
doing
I'm
it.
glad you rolled this. It would have been sad otherwise. So, as you walk through, you see one poster illustrates 2 figures walking towards a large house in the woods. One holds a strange handheld device, and the title of this not movie poster, like stage production poster, a playbill, says Gian Belladia presents The Inventor and the Apothecary. And you see, as you glance by, the names of like the main 2 like actors that they were promoting at the time, and it says again Gian Belladia and Katsi Belladia.
Oh.
Is Catsy spelled with a K?
It is.
Gotcha.
And it catches your eye, and you kind of look around. There's another poster that says a romantic tragedy, Outer Rim, and there's like 2 dwarf lovers holding each other inside a large crater on the ground. And then there's like a last poster that showcases an elf standing in front of an artistic rendering of a house within a house, and it's titled The Dollhouse Maker. But your eyes go back to the inventor and the apothecary, because although it's painted in a poster, the woman has bright red hair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Kay stops for a moment. Not really caring if anyone else is seeing, like, looks up at the poster and then writes down the names.
Okay. And then
Langston
so basically, Langston.
Langston sees all.
And they're basically Mayfair kind of stops in this hallway. Is in an ideal space. Like as she goes down a bit away, you see through like one open door. There's like a narrow doorway into a kitchen. And she kind of walks past that to kind of not interrupt, like if somebody does need to go up and to from the kitchen, and kind of hands back. There are 2 more doors at the ends where you are that are closed. And she sort of just stops there, crosses her arms in the corner. And you can see a look of annoyance a little bit on her face, but she doesn't really say anything, but she stops as in like, here's some privacy. Captain Redfall kind of looks at you though. And when it's like, once people have stopped moving and he's just like, well.
Oh, so you want to know what happened to the crew? All right. And Loch takes the oar from his back and kind of like just tosses it over to Redfall.
He kind of just grabs it, looks confused. What's this?
It's all that's left. Myself and this oar. There was a storm. I don't know what happened. I was hoping that you might know, but
he kind of
trust me.
shoves it back into your chest and he says, "You expect me to believe that the mighty Felarian gets stopped by one storm?"
You weren't there, mate. This wasn't just a storm. And trust me, I wish it could be different. You think I want to be the only one left? Think I want to be not knowing whether she's alive or dead? Do you think
You don't
all
know.
I want? Do you think I want to have just this oar left of my life, of my ship? No, I don't think so.
You
So
see
before you
this
start-
look across his face where he's just sort of like, hold on, like, things are changing faster than he is processing in his like understanding of things. And as he interrupts you as you say, and you're like, what do you mean you don't know if she's alive or dead? There's a chance she's alive. You're saying there's a chance she's alive.
Why do you think I'm here?
Why are you... What are you doing here going to... Where was it again? What... Kind of like looks at everybody like, where did you want me to take you again? Broken Top Bay? What's there for you?
Well, hopefully answers. But if... I don't know, I figured...
Lightning? Regarding the lightning? That's the name of your ship.
Oh, got it. I was like... well, the way I see it is, I can either be stuck here, in this fine city. Oh, it's great. It's been nothing but sunshine and roses since we've been here. But, or we can set sail, and maybe find out something about Felorian. Maybe find out something about just anything. Because trust me, I've been wondering. I've been looking. And if you're the only thing I find from my past life, that's pretty sorry. I hate to say it that bluntly, but trust me, there's a lot of other folks I'd rather find than you, Redfall.
You see him sort of like huff and like turn his head, and he's just like, just starts pacing like up and down this hallway. And like, okay, you have to like move out of the way because it's not the biggest hallway. And he just kind of keeps pacing and thinking. Good.
Loch leans into like Hex and Kay, and he's like, "See, I'm trying to show how confident, and trying to to make him think like, oh, they're so cool, they're so confident. But I'm terrified right now. Redfall is terrifying. Don't let him know I said that."
Yeah. She kind of like pats you on the shoulder and she says, "I've known Loch to be many things in the short time we've traveled together, but a liar hasn't been one of them."
He is the only one that's killed somebody.
That's not true.
Not true. Not true anymore. Sorry.
Redfall like was starting to like vibe with what Hex was saying, and he looks confused again.
Mm-hmm.
What we mean to say is we're formidable, and we can be excellent allies to you in your search for this Felarian. After all, we have one of the last people who saw them right here.
It's mighty suspicious. The last person that saw her is still alive. The one that was on the ship. The only one I've seen since those days cross these paths. And I've been around.
Look, Redfall, you can believe what you want about me. But if you cared for her the way I did, you should jump at this chance, because I'm going to find something with or without your help. So you can come with us, or you can't.
Gets this angry face. Is a little even angrier than when he first saw you, as he closes the distance one more time and shoves this like finger in your face, and he says, "You, of all people, know what she meant to me."
Loch doesn't back down.
And he starts to just kind of like, just as quickly as that anger came, kind of it fades.
Mm-hmm.
And he sighs, and yeah.
Hex sort of like watches this moment for a moment and then clears her throat to get his attention, just kind of like looking over Loch's shoulder at this very frustrated man. She sort of leans down and gets near his face, and she says, "Ever since we met, he's been carrying that." And she sort of motions to the oar. Does a murderer, does someone who's guilty of something hold on to something like that? Because to me, that's the sign of someone who's hoping to reclaim something they've lost, not the sign of someone bragging about what horrors they may have committed. When I leave horror behind me, I certainly don't take a souvenir.
His hand drops and he stands to his full towering height, barely like brushing like the ceiling of this hallway. You see him think for a second, look at you, Hex, at you, Loch, glances kind of behind him to where Kay is. Then he just says, meet me tomorrow afternoon at the Moxie 7. Moxie 7. And like you think he's gonna say more. And then he just turns on his heel and like storms back up the stairs.
After a safe amount of time, Loch just lets out his breath and is like, oh gosh. Like, whew. And I think he actually sits down and leans up against the wall. He's like, this has been a pretty wild emotional roller coaster the last 14 minutes of his life.
KO look
And then
at Loch and say, so who's the she? The ship?
And then Loch looks up and I think you see tears in his eyes and he says, well, it was my mother. Well, adopted mother. She wasn't a Herringham. She was an elf. And she found me. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got to whatever plane of existence this is, but it's not where I'm from. And when I was... First thing I remember seeing is her face. She pulled me out of the water and I sailed with her ever since.
Okay, he's clearly taking it in and giving you a second to get the emotions out. And then she cracks this wry smile and says, so that's Dad?
God, no.
He cared for her, it seems.
Trust me, he wanted to be.
Hex just goes, no, that's Daddy.
Yeah.
He, watches him go up the stairs and finishes the last of her mug of ale.
Pretty much. No, you're right.
Pirates.
Yeah, no, we're not saints, we're pirates. There was a lot that went on.
I'm sure there was.
Mm-hmm.
So this Filarian.
Mm-hmm.
Has Hex ever heard of someone named Filarian?
Ooh, want to make me a history check?
I do, because I'm good at stuff and things. I get advantage on history check.
Yeah, it'll be.
All right, that's a 19.
Okay. Kind of rings a bell.
Mm-hmm.
It's Captain Filarian. When you put it together, when you think of a name and you're like Filarian, I don't know, Captain Filarian. Wait, that sounds familiar. And vaguely you have heard stories of talented sea captain. You think that there were a sea elf from the stories. The things that come to your mind are competent, the stories about them were, oh, there she is, really talented, really competent, does all these cool things. From the little that you've heard of Captain Redfall, the stories that at least Captain Redfall tells, they have that similar vibe of look at these epic people doing these epic things.
Yeah. We're all just searching for our equal, I suppose. Is that where your faith comes from, Loch?
Partially. She wasn't a huge one for faith, but being raised by sea elves out on the ocean sort of wears off on you. We had some clergy and clerics and believers on the ship, but honestly, it wasn't a huge part of my life until I washed ashore at the monastery in
Yep. There.
In a town I was in.
In that town, that one.
A little ways away
What?
from that other town.
You know, back in insert sim speech here.
You washed ashore after the storm.
There was one night we were sailing, coming back from. And you see him like smile and like, reminiscing about the adventures. There was a rumor there was a magical telescope out on one of the islands, and on the way back we got caught in a storm, and it wasn't anything we hadn't dealt with before, but for some reason the wrath of the gods was in this one that night. And Faluri and my mother, as things were looking south, as the mast was cracking and didn't look like the ship was going to last much longer, she put me in a rowboat and sent me out. And the next thing I remember waking up
Did you
with.
And
Sorry.
even Loch, as you say that, like that memory is a little fuzzy.
Yeah, he's like pieced it together. Like it's not correct.
Well, it might come through a little bit, like in how Loch kind of talks about it. And he's like, and then this happened. Like, you know what I mean?
when you went to the island, did you take the telescope? Did
Honestly,
you use it?
Well, she did. I didn't take it. Sorry, I should have been more clear. Of course, if she was the best at what she did. If she had her mind set on something, she would get it.
Did she tell you what she saw through the telescope?
But now that you mention it, that does seem.
I mean, I don't know what the telescope was for, unless you know that.
Sorry,
It seems relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
now
no,
I think back on it. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
and-
Oh wow! How did that escape my mind? And he's I've thought about it long and hard, and I've been more concerned with finding her, because like as Redfall said, it would take a lot more than the sea to claim her.
Perhaps some force or entity didn't want her to use what she saw.
I mean, you'd know. And he says, "Pardon me for assuming, but I feel like you would know a bit about otherworldly forces."
I know about curses, and I know about revenge. Kind of my thing.
Oh, you're so edgy. It's so cool.
I know. I know.
If this was written, it was, she said edgily.
Yeah.
She said edgy.
She said with
And-
all
Yeah.
the edge.
She literally says it, and then she goes, "I know," and then she looks in the bottom of her drink, like she's like looking for the answer to, or like response to that, and then she just deeply sighs and she says, "It's exhausting."
Oh, so hard.
It's
I think Loch actually would laugh at that, and just is like, no. One of the things my mother taught me, though, was the importance of being in a crew and having people that would have your back. And I think he stands up and puts a hand on your shoulder, Hex, and says, "It was a very kind thing you said to Redfall back there. So thank you."
I only said what I saw, she says, and like kind of like looks at you and then is like deeply uncomfortable by the like real talk, and just kind of like straightens up a little bit and says, "Oh, I was trying to see something," and she grabs your arm and her eyes orb over like black, and she listens to through her scrying seed to see if anything.
I need to escape from this immediate moment.
Yeah. But
Magic.
It's like magic, but it's just horrifying as per usual.
Locke just looks at Kay. It's like,
Is this happening?
what's going on?
Kay just gives a shrug and like leans against the wall, waiting for everything to turn back to normal.
All right, grin and bear it.
So, do you all just kind of wait there for Hex? Like, you wait for Hex, or Kay, are you kind of doing anything else?
No, I'm not doing anything else.
What are you trying to... Were you trying to cast a spell?
Oh yeah, so this makes sense to us, but because you weren't here, there were people upstairs that were talking around this like big book at a table, and I had like listened into the first part of their story, which basically they had said basically they had said something about the docks. I can't remember exactly what. I'm looking at my notes, and I apparently didn't write very much down about it. But at the time, like, it didn't much come to anything, but she's curious if they're talking about anything else. And so she had, like, sneakily, like, left one of her scrying seeds under the table. And so she's just checking back in through it to see if they're talking
I see.
about
Okay.
She's escaping your convo.
Got it.
And checking out.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. It was getting heavy. That makes sense. Yeah. I would do the same thing if I had a leeching seed.
Oh, you know, my trusty get the heck out of Dodge seed.
Yeah. Also, what a great ability just to have, like, at a party. Someone's like, all right, small talk. You're like, hold on. Just like, all right, yeah, no,
Kill
okay.
two birds with one stone. You freak the person out that you're talking to, and you also get to be just somewhere else and outside of your body for a little bit. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Truly perfect. Okay, so you kind of like whoosh back in to listen in, and do you have sight when you do this, or just sound?
I have sight and I have sound. So like I can kind of like, I am the seed under the table, so I can see like the boots moving around. I could see like,
okay, and you are you're under the table, right? Like that's where you rolled the seed.
And you had said that I saw like robes, like robed figures sitting at this table.
Yeah, I mean you had walked by them, so you yourselves all saw the people sitting there. There was 3 young people, kind of just drinks in hand, focused on this oversized tome on the table. And it was a very odd looking book because it seemed stitched and restitched so many times. It's like books and scrolls matched in it. It's just this really odd thing. And they're all just sitting around. There's 2 humans and an elf. And as you listen back in, they sound like they're still poring over like the contents of the book, but you heard something about the docks, and I believe I might say something else here. I'm trying to also remember what it was last time, but it had something to do with chains.
Yes,
tethering.
I do remember the chains.
Yeah. So last time they had mentioned something about enormous underwater chains tethering the Lakeport Dock Island to Thano. And now they're talking about like cropland and the fish markets and like something like between this and then it sounds almost like they're jumping from random fact to random fact. There is no, and you're trying to understand, right? So like for now, as you kind of listen in, they're like, well, if it's a half moon, you can drink from the lake without getting sick. And the other one's like, no, that's not possible because it doesn't make sense. And then they're like, well, no, but it is, because see, look at this point here, see this this part, and like they like seem to be like pointing to the book and talking about the book, and it's just really random facts that this has nothing to do with what they talked about before, but they're like discussing, and you can hear in their voice, they're enjoying it. They're like, think of the most kind of like snobby-ish academic know-it-alls style of conversation of like, well, I remember from when I learned in 4 years of studying at this university that it was like this. And it's like, well, that's not possible because it just defies all alchemical reason. And like, that's the type of discussion that they're having. But this topic is completely different than the previous topic.
Yeah. She like zooms back into herself because she can't like interact with it in any way. And she goes,
Are you okay? What the hell was that?
I was scrying. It's just a cool thing I can do.
All right.
There's some people up there with a book made of like skin
Ugh.
and like stuff. Is it
What?
one that I wanted?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. That's terrible.
Mayfire kind of peels herself away from the corner where she was just still and quiet and like not in any of y'all's like attention, and inserts herself again as she walks forward, looks at all of you and says, now that you've sufficiently acquired the captain, I'll retire for the night. You have 3 rooms. I'll take one of them. So, there's 2 rooms for you. If you need more, let me know. Good night. And just kind of like leaves.
I like her.
So, from where you stand right now, there is... You have the main thing. You have the captain.
Mm-hmm.
You have the rest of the evening to drink, to explore, to maybe get a book if you can, whatever you want tonight. Look for information, ask questions, Kay, about anything you might have. So you let me know what you're looking to do for the rest of the night before you retire for the evening. And as a reminder, you also know that this has all been one very long day, but Captain Redfall said to meet him in the afternoon, and you have a task to complete for the reason you came to Fano in the first place, because you know that in some fashion, the, what are they called? These, hold on, I'm gonna say it wrong.
Starlight.
Nope.
Indosians?
The Starless Fair.
Starless Fair.
There's definitely someone on the Starless Fair expecting you, because you did accept the job upon coming here. And there's at the very least a task to be done.
All right. So we can do that in the morning, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So I know we need rest. That goes without saying. But what's rest without a little theft?
Oh. Yes.
Kay, like, raises her eyebrows a second, says, just don't include me. You don't know me for the rest of the night if theft is going on.
Even might tell you more about how to make, more of that. And she sort of like points to your big fist gauntlet.
In one of the many sentences that were said by these individuals, you recall like hearing things about mechanics and schematics as well. So it's been agricultural, it's been mechanical, it's been mathematical, it's been alchemical, it's been a lot. There is definitely all kinds of knowledge.
Yeah, you see like a hard decision crossing her face, and she eventually lets a sigh out and shakes her head. No, not any other time. Yes, not tonight. I can't make enemies here.
Not even if we can find a big mechanical shoe? Or another fist? Something to...
3 miles from here? Sure.
You have a date 3 miles from here?
No.
You have a date?
What?
What? Go! Don't hang out with us!
You had
Go!
other things to do!
No.
I want to know what they are!
I don't have anything else to do. I have no ability to make enemies here.
I have things not to do. The things not to do are make
I have
enemies.
things
over.
specifically
I-
not to do, which
You
seems
have-
to be the things that you want to do.
Yes, you have common sense, and I get that. Very good
Yes.
for you, darling. Yes, I don't have that. Never have, really, and I'm not about to start. So, how are we going to get this book?
Fine question.
Kay says, "Good luck," and starts to go upstairs.
Perfect.
Love you, Kay. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I want this
And
book, and I want it
Locke, are
because I
you-
want you to read it. Tell me what's in it. You're good? Okay, good.
Well, I think
Locke,
the
are
first
you
thing...
joining in on this?
Of course.
Okay.
Never doubt. My god is chaos.
Decision, best
Chaos god.
please.
Let's go. I think the first thing is maybe go. What is it? Case the joint? Do you want to go?
Yeah, we can go have a look up there. I mean, you're new. I was sort of hanging out in that corner for a little bit, but maybe with your new, much better eyes.
Yes.
I've only got like eyes under the table. Maybe you might be able
Ah.
to see a little bit more.
Did you actually put your eyes under the table, or is it just a seed? Or I'm confused.
Remember when I gave you that seed before?
Uh-huh.
So I had another one of those, and I just chucked it under the table, like
Oh,
whoop,
wonderful.
just whoop. I threw
Oh,
a seed.
I hope there's no
No, a
squirrels
bloody
or
seed that can see everything and hear everything, but like
Oh,
just a little seed.
magic is wonderful.
Magic is so gross. I love it. And so she sort of begins like hopping up the stairs behind Kay, and they sort of like separate out to case the joy. And she grabs 2 more drinks for us, and then she points out the table and says, "Do you want to go see what you can see?"
Is Redfall still close by? Or is he just gone?
Yes. No. So the table that these 3 individuals are kind of poring over this tome. So if you go to your handouts on Alchemy, you will see sort of the outline blueprint of the bluefin. And I will do this just also to kind of give that
lovely.
visual.
Mm-hmm.
Down in the lower floor, in the bottom right, is the hallway that y'all were in. Okay?
All right.
So the first doors are the kitchens. Just as a reminder, you were standing by 2 closed doors next to you. I know there's chaos, folks. I just want to remind people that there's 2 closed doors. No, I'm kidding. There's those, and then you can go back upstairs.
Now I do want to check out those doors.
It's totally fine. As you head back upstairs, and you can if you want, just let me know. But if you go back to the main floor, you'll see number 6 and 7 at the top left corner. So in the corner is Captain Redfall's table, and just a little bit of ways in that same vicinity is those folks that are like sitting there poring over this tome. So they're actually rather close to Redfall. Not like super close, but they're in the vicinity.
Okay.
An idea is sprouting in the head.
While all
My-
this is
my head.
happening, Kay's gonna try to get back to Maggie Moon's table / invite her somewhere. Probably not the room, but like
Ooh.
the bar or something for a drink.
It is a date.
Okay. Yeah, having kind of recently interacted with her and obviously piqued her interest, when you try to flag her down from like the table, like she does let she does kind of like wave to one of her people, who goes up to you and kind of asks like, what do you want?
To talk to Maggie about earlier. I have a little bit more to give her.
Looks at you like not sure what to do with that. So then there's like this awkward moment, and then they turn around and go back to Maggie Moon to relay this, and she just kind of like rolls her eyes at the person, shoves them aside, and just waves you over.
Kay will go and sit down and like elbows on the table, leaning forward to be able to talk to Maggie quietly. Says, seems... She's like trying to figure out how to word it.
You miss me already.
She just smiles. Downstairs, though, it seems I found something that may be a little bit more information.
I love information.
Have you heard of Katsi? Belladia? The name Belladia? You're in the performing circles, right?
This kind of like thoughtful look crosses her face. She's like, Belladia, the playwright?
I guess Gian Belladia, Katsi Belladia.
Yes, that were before my time here, really. But back when this was actually a theater, quite a long time ago. You saying this is of relevance to what you talked about earlier?
Kay shrugs slightly and says, it's the closest thing that I've had so far. It's somebody with... She kind of like pulls on one of her bangs and says, and it starts with a K.
Fascinating. I will see what I can find. So talent runs in the family. Maybe.
Maybe.
Stay for another drink?
You see her glance back at like the other two. Sure.
Amazing.
God, which
So
of us
she-
is making the worst decision? I really don't know right now.
Amazing. I'm so excited for this. Hey, did y'all know? Hey, everybody listening to this, being like, hey, maybe I want to run the Lost Druid. Maggie Moon, very romanceable NPC. I'll just put it out there right now.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it. 10 out of 10. Okay. Let's go back to Loch and Hex. What shenanigans are you all unleashing upon this tavern that the poor... Oh, Loch, you don't even know about the alchemist that tried to blow the place up. It's great.
No. But it
Yeah,
sounds
am I,
good.
like-
Cool guy.
Still weird colors, I feel like.
Your weird
Oh.
colors?
No, I forgot. Actually, we did forget one very important thing, which is that Kay, this whole
Right.
time, has been speaking in rhyme.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah?
I was
forgot
ready
about
for
that.
it before the session, and I completely forgot about it with all the banter.
I'm thinking back to what. Yeah, no, you were doing it. It was perfect. It was 100% every way. You crushed it every
Yeah,
round.
yeah.
It was
If we
amazing.
watch the VOD, you'll actually
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
perfectly like overlaid, and
Yeah.
it's a reality
Perfect.
now.
Yeah, don't worry about the bad dubbing. Thanks.
Yeah, the really odd mouth shape differences there. You had Hex, I believe. You were laughing, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
something like I just always laugh.
You
or
began
I
to
don't-
giggle uncontrollably
yeah, I
and
did
find
that.
everything around you hilarious.
It was super funny the whole time. I remember.
Yes.
Locke's like, I was pouring out my life story to you. Why are you laughing?
Because I just
But I
enjoy
believe
it
that
so
was just
much.
for the next
Yeah.
minute.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So then
Yeah.
we're good.
Mine's so
Um,
long.
So
Yeah, Hex's or K's is literally until the next long rest, which is wild.
Oh no.
it's rough. All right.
We'll say it
so
was an
Are you
hour
going
for
to
this.
go and check out the table and or did you have an idea?
yes. Well, if you're trying to, he like leans in. If you're trying to steer the book, if we need a distraction, Redfall is right there. We could try to, or I could try to rile him up again, but then that might
That might
endanger
attract undue
yeah.
attention.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The priority.
Feel Mayfair's gaze, like
Yeah.
she's nowhere
Yeah.
around, but you just see her.
She's like just tucking herself into bed, and she just like sits up and she's like, "Oh no."
Spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah. Well, I do think that this will probably be the last thing he does with Redfall. I think he just said, Locke says, "Hold on," and he runs back to the bar or hops back to the bar, and grabs another big tankard of alcohol,
Yeah.
and goes and like puts it down in front of Redfall, and just like looks at him.
He kind of just nods at you.
And then,
grabs the
then
thing.
he like walks away and says nothing. Doesn't say anything to him.
Yeah,
And you
she-
can tell literally the folks, because there's always folks gathered around him, especially after like having come back from like, oh, what drama, what happened?
Yeah.
Their eyes on you from his little table, and they can all tell Redfall's in a mood and like not his jovial like storytelling self as per usual, and so they're all biting their tongue, but everybody's trying to be like, I want to ask so bad. As you like walk by silently and walk by again, they're like,
Yeah.
Actually, like now that I'm watching Loch go back and forth, do I get a sense that people are like paying a lot of attention to him based on the rumor that I started earlier?
yes.
Ooh.
The answer to
Okay.
that is definitely yes.
Awesome.
Ooh.
She
I mean,
says,
there's you'll see this. First of all, when y'all come back up, eyes are on you, and you can imagine eyes were on Redfall when he came back up, right? Everybody wants to know what happened. You, knowing what you said, see like particular couple of like elbow nudging and like curious kind of like, oh wait, him? Like that kind of stuff.
do the people at the table with the book have any? Are they like just locked on the book, or are they locked on Loch like everybody else?
Locked on lock.
They seem like they paid, like one of them looked up to watch Loch go forward, and they seem to be conversing. They seem to be aware of what happened and potentially partially interested, maybe acting a little bit like they are above it.
They're too
Though
good
the-
for reality TV. Fuck those guys.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean that they're not actually interested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Do you have a plan? I saw your eyes lighten up. What's up?
So I might have just for fun intimated intimacy between you and the captain, just to cover our trail, like throw them off the scent of what was actually happening. But it's like a fun scent. What could we do to stir that up a little bit? Maybe you could find just like another person nearby and just start like flirting with them and just confuse the hell out of everybody. Like I thought he was with the captain. I don't know.
Can I add? Like, can we retcon something ever so slightly?
Yeah.
What's up?
Maybe this happens right before I go give him Redfall the drink.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
totally fine.
Okay.
Yes. So
I love
here's
that.
Because
Here's
then
what's
I
gonna
think. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
go ahead. No. If you have a plan, tell me.
As a plan, but it's probably a terrible plan. But if
I'm
we're looking
so
for
ready.
if we're looking for a distraction and something to rile the group up, Loch's not afraid of a little intimacy. So as he like puts the captain's drink down, he just says, "Hey, look here," and gets Redfall's attention. And then, if you'll permit me, he kisses him right on the mouth and then walks away.
Okay. And I want to take advantage of this moment to try and like swipe the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second here.
Moment.
Roll a kiss.
Yeah, there's probably I got my kissing dice ready.
It's ready.
They're
It's
ready to
locked
go.
and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
Ready to smooch, baby.
I have
They're
a
about to
command
be
called
locking
wink.
lips.
Locking lips. I don't know. Oh, you probably should just roll. Yeah, whatever you want. I'm ready for it because this is, like I said, probably not a great idea, but
but it's
we'll
apparently happening.
it's happening.
So, we'll find out exactly how this goes down when we come back from break.
Oh, nice! What perfect time!
Yeah.
It's 9:30. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah.
It was good timing. So, please stick around, y'all. We'll be back real short. Real shortly. Real short, like.
Real short,
Yep.
like.
Real short, like. So please stretch, grab a drink, refresh. How about this? Grab your legs and Yes.
Refresh your legs and drink.
Refresh your legs and drink. Okay, we're good. Have a great break. We'll
Crispy
be back in
legs.
just a little bit.
Bye.
Welcome back in, everybody. So, I'm ready to be regaled, entertained, sit back, relax, as the heist of the night. The heist of the century takes place.
Or the end of this campaign for 2 out of 3 of our characters.
And then
Loch
spend the
Jr.
rest
shows
of the
up.
night re-rolling up new characters. It's great.
Let's do it.
So, tell me.
All right.
Hex, Loch, what's happening?
Here's what needs to happen.
Yes.
I need to go treat with our friend in the other room. I need to let this romance bloom. That was the true heist all along. No, but
Yes.
what I need to do is go treat with our friend in the other room and pay them for some of their potions.
The wizard
The
alchemist,
alchemist,
dude,
the one who gave us a bunch of shit to drink.
Okay, so he's not in the other room. He's like on the other side of the tavern.
Yeah.
And he is. Let me flip a couple papers here. Splink. It's Splink. The little plump gnome that's there in the back of the tavern. Okay, so you go back to him. I like this.
Yeah, and I say,
Like,
you know, I really loved what I tried earlier, and I'd love to see if you'd mind purveying a few of your tinctures to me for 2 gold, 1 gold. What are we feeling here?
what are you gonna do with them?
Chaos.
Take them.
Yes. Oh, God, I kiss him on the mouth.
Yes. Everyone's
if he
getting.
permits.
And he does, and he then like just hicks, completely drunk, giggling. He concocts 2 more drinks for you. I believe you have taken. Yes.
And then, sorry, I need 3. You got 3? I'll take 2, but if you got 3,
Roll me a 1d4.
Ooh,
1d4.
let's go. Let's go.
That is a 3.
Okay. So he puts together one that looks familiar to you, your potion of laughter. When you ask for the third, he gives you 2 that you do not know what they are. And then he gives you the third when you ask for a third one. He's like, oh, like a little, you don't know. It's a little concerning.
Yeah.
He is very drunk. He just put this together kind of haphazardly. And you're like, okay, that kind of looks like the one that I had, hopefully. So you do have 3.
Excellent. And what was your name again?
Splink.
Splink, yes. Splink.
Sorry.
I have one more favor for you. And I'm happy to pay for it.
Okay.
Would you mind? Because I don't want any of us to get in trouble for just, science.
Mm-hmm.
Would
You see Splink
mind-
look up at the blasted out roof of this tavern.
Yeah. And she goes,
Right.
she says, would you mind trying to draw the attention of either Parable or Paradigm behind the bar? Just keep them in another room with you.
Kind of looks around. Like, there's not the most rooms here. Then his eyes kind of alight on the stage. He's like, oh, yeah, I got this.
I
And
need,
you see
I
him, like,
need her
start-
to not be in the same room as me.
That's, well,
Or behind the
you're
curtain, or like...
So at the very least, you're on like this side of the tavern, and
Yeah.
it's like sectioned off in a lot of odd ways.
Mhm.
There's balconies and the like. There's
Yeah.
the bar, which is nestled up against the stage, and then there's the stage. So at the very least, they'll be in that direction. You're gonna be in that
amazing.
direction.
Yeah, she says if you could cut off a line of sight between wherever you're taking her and, over
He's
there.
already like wobbling away.
You know what?
With
Sometimes
like
you
a
gotta set
handful
it
of
and
things.
forget it, buddy. Yeah, and so she's like, good enough. And she swipes a tray, and she's just gonna wait in the corner as Loch approaches the captain. So it's like now it's slow motion, and as she walks around behind a pillar, she becomes Parable.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
and walks up and says, "Excuse me, or however Parable talks, I can't. Excuse me, Maggie Moon dropped these off, or sent these your way. You look very interested in what you've got there. What is that, by the way?" And she sets it down for them and hands out the.
Okay, so you go up to the table with the 3 individuals, right?
Mhm.
You see them kind of taken aback, and they're like, Maggie Moon, and then like not one kind of elbows the other, and then the elf goes, "Yes, of course, Maggie Moon," and you realize like he was like starting to put on even like a little bit of an accent, and then like, why did I do that? And tries to go back, and it's like, yes, we go way back. Did she say why?
Wants to keep tabs on all the goings on around here, and she like looks down at the book and looks back at them.
Oh, well, we are simply I'm sure you've heard of us. So we're the shipwrights. We've all recently secured apprenticeships with the Gwyther family, and you know they are the most renowned shipwrights in Fano. And well, we simply like to showcase our knowledge and have. And like as one falters, the others goes, intellectual discussions.
Well, I'm sure that's far above me. And she just like says, "Well, cheers."
As you're doing this, because it did
Yeah.
not take long. I mean, just grabbing this and going
Yeah.
to the other stage, there is already kind of from the middle of the stage where already like as just Splink climbs, he's a small gnome,
The
and he's
little
just
boy.
like really drunkenly like climbing up the stairs towards the stage, and you hear like a bottle like clink and fall, and this is actually not intentional on Splink's part, as one of the bottles kind of rolls down the stairs and crashes into like the bottom of the stairs. This like pink smoke starts billowing out on that side, and then he's like, oh shit. And then you see like something small kind of like scurry across the stage that you didn't notice before.
Mhm.
Not Splink. And Splink kind of looks over and is like, wait, and you see him climb back up the stairs, just immediately forgetting that was happening, and
Mhm.
stands up in the middle of the stage with a bottle in each hand. And he just stands there like this tiny gnome in the middle of this empty stage. There were some musicians, not Maggie Moon, but like kind of like, you know, like between acts musicians that were strumming some light jaunty tune that literally as soon as that bottle started bouncing, they picked up their instruments and like backed out of there. They were like, no thanks. And so now with the stage empty, there's Splink standing there with one on either end, and you see both Parable and Paradigm at the bar turn around and be like, oh no, and they're starting to go that way.
Okay.
Excellent.
So the pink smoke is starting to go from like the corner, not quite in the right location. However, there's a moment where they all look over as well, and they might see that Paradigm and Parable are both over there. So you can try to do something here to make sure that they don't get too noticing of that.
Yeah, she says, like as their eyes start to be pulled in that direction, she goes, "Oh my God, it's him! The one that the captain's in love with! Oh my God, he's here!" And she like grabs one of them firmly on the shoulder and like points, and she's like, "I shouldn't be such a gossip, but why else do you own a bar?"
Right as Loch
Loch.
kisses the captain.
That is your cue to like saunter up there. All right, so let's get some rolls going here. So Loch, I want to give you a chance to describe if there's anything else that you're doing differently than what you mentioned last time. Are you just going up, pulling like a flagon of ale down on the table and just kissing him?
I think knowing what Hex just did, I feel like there was a very rapid fire discussion of this plan. And I think he probably went over to the bar, grabbed the flagon of ale, or
And probably
whatever.
got the serving tray for Hex too.
Yeah.
while-
There's a cool moment where like Hex, like her back goes up against a pillar and she like rolls around right as Loch tosses off a little
it's
tray.
so
There's
good.
a cool Ocean's 11 little thing. Man, we're
Yeah.
just firing
Amazing.
on all
Yes.
cylinders. And like
Before
he's just
any
like,
performances are rolled.
oh,
Yes.
absolutely. And so then I think like, just to not retcon too much, I think he's walking up towards Redfall, making it seem like he's determined, but also just kind of like half listening for Hex to kind of give that signal of like, oh, there it is.
It's happening.
And he's like, God damn it. And he just goes in and drops it down. And I think I will say it's a little more I don't like this word, but a little more forceful than he isn't like, hey, like he drops the thing down, grabs him by the collars, turns him, kisses him, and then like throws him down and starts to walk away. That's it.
Incredible.
Okay. Oh gosh. Make me
A survival check, maybe.
What is it?
Animal handling.
God.
What do we got?
Where do I
Intimidation.
even
Nope, that's 0.
start?
Yeah, there's a. I don't expect this to go well. So whatever
let's
you want.
start with
Wink.
this. Hex.
Yes.
Hex, give me a deception check.
Ooh.
A deception check of your life here. As Loch, you give me a performance. Is there a performance? What is there?
There is
D&D?
performance. Yeah,
there
there's
is
a performance.
great. Do
Charisma.
that.
I just want you to know I got a +0 to that. So here we go.
I'm ready.
You want to go first? Andy?
I
Okay,
got a
has the wink.
22.
That's great.
Okay. I have that
22.
ability too, but 22, nice.
Mhm.
Performance check. A 19.
Wow.
+0. Heck yeah.
Natural and final. 19.
Let's go.
Amazing. Oh wow. This is going great.
Mhm.
Oh.
You caught Captain Redfall
Mhm.
in this moment of he's been through a lot of emotion tonight.
Mhm.
That's okay. That's valid, Captain Redfall. You're doing your best. You're processing. You're taking time to yourself.
I love that you're talking your NPC through this
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Like,
You can do
condemn
it.
this asshole.
You can do this.
Grab the
Listen,
face.
yeah, you saw like the closest person that was to love of your life. And yes, that's really suspicious. And no, I guess maybe he didn't do it. No, okay. So he's there sitting at this table, and he's obviously not 100%, but he's trying to get back into it with the people that are around him. And then he sees you again. So this kind of like wash of again like mixed emotion crosses his face, which makes him so unprepared and so it is hard. Loch knows this, to get a Captain Redfall unprepared. And of all the opportunities to do so, yeah, this would be a pretty good one. And so you do this, and he doesn't react in the moment, but the second that you let go and start to walk away, there is this like enraged, like, what? And you see him like standing up, the chair topples over, and now the crowd that was around him is a little confused, and they were like so shocked. Make like a dex save to get the heck out of there
That sounds
before
about
he
right.
gets you.
Let's a dexterity save. 14. I don't know if that I should have. Okay, 13 plus 1. Yeah, 14.
Okay, and let me do.
Although I will say, if I feel like Loch and Redfall probably have, well, they obviously have a history. If Loch gets the sense that he's gonna like hit him or tackle him or do anything, Loch wouldn't resist. I think that would be the follow up to like this, like, I got your attention, do what you're gonna do kind of a thing.
So the thing is that I rolled a natural 2 on my dice.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
For a total of 4.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, So, actually, if it's a save, it's a 4. Okay, so 6. It's not bad, but 14 is better. So you do this, and you go and you're just like, oh, hold on, wait, this is really important. Captain Redfall, he never wears a shirt. So what did you what do you grab? I must know. Audience must know. We
by
must
the
know.
chest hair.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yes.
No, I think I just
He's
grab
this
his.
tatted man. Yes.
I
amazing.
think Locke just like grab him by the face, just like side of the face, turn him, and then kiss him.
I mean, he has
and
this
then,
lustrous beard too.
Ooh,
Just so you know.
Locke would be very careful not to disrupt that because
Okay, thank you.
you never come
Respect
between a
the
pirate
beard.
and his beard.
And so he topples over the chair, and now in this short time you guys have planned this little thing, and just kind of glancing at the table, there's a lot of empty tankards. He has drinking heavily from the time that he has returned from y'all's conversation to now. The
Makes sense.
chair topples over as he stands up, and he kind of like is unsteady on his feet for a second as the group around him like looks at you walking away, and unfortunately just out of the confusion gets in his way of like pursuing you. But he is looking to go after you. Are you stopping or are you continuing?
I wouldn't know anything else about this bar. I don't know if they like allow or not allow. I don't know what their stance on fights are. So I think he would. Locke's many things, but he's not a coward. So he would turn. He's like, all right, do your worst. Like he's ready for it. Whatever.
Okay.
He's waiting.
Okay. Hex, you rolled a 22.
I did.
Amazing. So you managed to absolutely, I mean, you're just the most convincing paradigm, unfortunately, for them. And also, though, they were kind of curious about Locke in that situation.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's not hard to then direct their attention, and you do so, and that one on the shoulder, like, doesn't even think twice about it, because they know you, they've been here before, and so they absolutely do that. Their attention is there, and that this gasp, they're like, oh my god. Now, you're there, you're at the table.
Yeah.
There's a distraction happening, and it's a successful distraction. However, there's still 3 people at this table. The book is in the center of it. Are you going to risk this, or are you going to try to anything else? Are you going to try to just grab it now?
Yeah, so she as she's like grabbing this guy's shoulder, and like pointing, as she draws back, she accidentally like flips the bottom of his hand that he was drinking from. First of all, have any of them drunk, and are any of them affected by, I need to know that first, what the effects of these horrible concoctions.
Oh, you brought them drinks. Right,
Yes.
right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
You spiked their punch.
I did.
I think it's kind of happened relatively quickly because they went to go look at the bar.
Yeah.
Haven't had a chance to, but you rolled a 22. So I will say this, like, they're starting to chatter. They're starting to look over at the commotion that's happening.
Yeah.
As roll, can you roll a d6 for me?
Okay.
Well, because there's 3 of them.
D6.
All right. 4.
4. Okay, so 2 of them have taken a sip. As they're like, oh man, and they're grabbing their fresh drinks, and they're looking over, they're absolutely enraptured, and they're like,
Yeah.
so they do that kind of distracted and absolutely take a drink.
And then the third one, as she's like pulling back and going, oh my goodness, I mean, it's been a long time since this kind of drama has been on display here. She like flips the bottom of the cup that he's holding and spills it all over him.
Ooh, very nice.
So like the one that's not drinking and paying attention.
Okay, there's a lot of chaos that's about to happen here. So
That's all good.
because we have to roll for the effects of the drinks, let's start with there.
Yeah.
Because they're interesting to say the least. So great.
Do what feels right.
The first
What does your
one.
heart tell you?
Okay. As this happens, and they return their eyes because the downfall to the only downfall
Yeah.
is they're concerned that the book is going to get wet.
Yeah.
So they all kind of turn back to this. However, one starts to turn back and goes, wait, what is this? And pointing to, there is nothing in front of him that you can see.
Perfect.
Good.
And then oddly, though, you hear as he's like, what is this? You hear that same voice going, what is this? Like, right, like mocking it, but there's nothing there. And it's like, what? And that distracts the other ones. So there's, okay. And then the other one,
oh my God. What have I done?
You got, okay, there's Purple Parody, which is the potion of the ethereal mimic. That was the first one. When they drank this potion, they gain a spirit companion for an hour. It appears to you as an amorphous glowing being, but it's invisible to everyone else. But it mimics your voice and remains by your side. While hilarious, your companion might antagonize strangers who may think its snide comments are coming from you. While the potion's effect, you have disadvantage on all charisma checks.
Heck yeah.
And then there's Tico Tangle. Okay, when you drink this potion, as you see from the other guy, an adorable pocket-sized goblin named Tico appears perched on top of your shoulder. So as the one turns around and goes, what's this? The other one's like, whoa, as there's a little tiny, this big goblin on their shoulder.
Tico. Protect him. He is ours.
And as they get so distracted, this little tiny goblin that just appears out of thin air goes to this little, like, turns to the face that's like next to him, and he hugs him by the neck and goes, "Mama!"
Oh. It's adorable.
Yes. Chaos.
And he grabs him by like the chin, gives this big kiss on the cheek, and then jumps off and just dives into one of the cups that is on the table, knocking it over and causing things to spill. So at this point, things have been spilling. Chairs are being pulled back.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, what is happening? There is sheer and utter chaos, not to mention the purple or pink smoke coming from the other side of the room as another gnome center stage. Hey, Kay, you're gonna come in here real quick soon, as this is all happening on your side of the thing. As this little gnome says, I don't know what this is gonna do, and then just starts pouring them two together.
Good. Good.
God.
Wait, one question.
Yes.
Did Tico dive into the Tico drink and is now there a tinier Tico on
my
Tico's
God.
shoulder?
No.
And it's just
No.
compounding.
Yeah.
There was still ale there from the prior drink.
Makes sense.
And Tico did a nice little it was a perfect dive. Like 10 out of 10 dive.
As all of this is happening and they're all kind of getting caught up in what's happening with each other,
there's so much distraction.
Yeah.
So you can roll this next check with advantage.
I'm gonna roll it. She's going to be like, "Oh my god, there's a rat! It's a green rat! Get it!" And she's gonna like kick the flail and kick the mug with a tiny goblin in it off the edge of the table towards the other two that weren't wet before. And then as that happens, she's gonna grab the book and hide, like, put the book, so person, book, tray, like she's hiding behind the tray. Like, oh my god, get it. No, I can't deal with this, and try to, like, run off.
Clever.
Yes.
Clever.
What is it here in D&D again? Thievery. What is it?
What is rest without a little thievery?
Sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Sleight
or
of hand.
Stealth. I mean,
Stealth,
it's up to you.
Sleight of hand, if you don't.
Sleight of hand. All right.
With advantage.
Let's go.
Okay, listen, y'all. While this is okay.
The first thing I rolled was a 5, which wouldn't be good, but luckily I rolled a 19 after that. So that's 22 altogether.
I just need to take a moment to talk to the audience real quick. Let's, freeze frame, a la Emperor's New Groove or whatever it is. And you might be wondering how we got here.
Yeah.
Because I need to look at my GM notes for the evening here. Because let's see, we have the Loch vignette. Okay, we did that.
Check.
And the interaction with Captain Redfall. Yes, we did that. You have the information. You're going to meet him at the Moxie 7. And
check.
Then I have evening is yours.
Check.
I mean, it is.
And then
this. This is yeah. Yep. So, you know,
you
glad
made
I let that in
made
there.
of skin seem important, and I want it because it's gross.
Potion goblins, kissing crewmates, finding out about playwrights, stuff.
Listen,
This is
maybe
nothing
Mary's
to
gonna be
prepare
really
me.
mad about it, but that's a problem for
nothing could
future us.
prepare me.
Fourth wall
Okay,
broken.
so is that a 19 with any modifiers?
Yes, it's a 22 altogether.
Amazing.
a
All
good
right,
number,
I'm going to
good
roll
round
some
number.
perception real quick. Let's find out.
But like, low.
These guys are like wildly perceptive.
Do they have
Eyes
maybe
and-
disadvantage because like of all the other shit that's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Just like a
Yeah.
cool idea.
Also, because
I
you
had.
poke them in the eye, try to perceive. I can't see.
Yeah, and 8's
Jerks.
bad. 8's not good.
Not good.
A 2 is also bad. We love are good for me, but
I
yeah.
would say worse than an 8, actually.
9. I rolled 18 and a 9, so that was good. Okay.
Better than an 8.
However, none of those. Man, I was okay. I was like, what if at disadvantage though? There was like an 18 and a 19. Like that'd be great. But no.
Yeah, that'd be great. But it
So
still really happens.
we're gonna pause on this side of the room. Let's go to the other side of the room. We'll resolve this.
How could you do this? Sir? I can't believe we've done
Freeze
this.
frame.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're sitting there having a lovely drink with Maggie Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're kind of nestled. Now, while you are on the stage, as Maggie Moon has kind of like put a little like private table to the side of it, it's not like necessarily. You can see it from the room, but it's to the side of the space. And you have the first moment of that interrupted conversation when you see a familiar gnome clamoring and failing to clamber up the stairs. Excuse me. So, you knew last time you were charged with stopping this gnome from causing too much damage to the tavern again. That was requested of you. And as they're clambering up and moving to center stage, are you leaving, or are you doing anything? Let's check in here. Don't involve me in your chaos. Flashback.
And to be fair, we didn't.
We
That's
didn't.
true.
You didn't.
All right, hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kay gets really mad because she's trying to just enjoy the night. And so she grabs one of the empty like bottles, not a glass that like the bar owns, but one of the bottles on the table. And her gauntlet like, and she launches it at the gnome. But she wants to miss him on purpose. She wants to throw it like 2 inches in front of his face to like sober him up.
Nice.
Ooh.
Do it.
Roll an
Do
attack.
it. Do it. Yes. Let's go, Kay.
9.
Okay. This is one of those times where a better roll means better accuracy.
Yeah.
So, you do this.
Yeah.
Just as Splink gets to there's too many little tiny names now. Like there's Splink, there's the okay.
The only one you need to remember
We're
is
everywhere.
Tico.
Tico and Splink, great.
Forever.
So Splink gets and stumbles to the center of the stage and says, "I don't know what this is gonna do," and raises 2 different potions in either hand. And what was it that you picked to throw?
Like a bottle, something that is not owned by the bar. Like she doesn't want to throw a glass, so like a bottle of mead or anything.
Some of the glasses are like wooden, like tankards. Like
Sure.
they might survive that kind of a thing.
Probably won't, but yeah, I hear you.
You have that quick choice of like, oh, this bottle's full or that. But whichever you choose, you go and you just sort of projectile it towards Splink. You try to miss him, but you rolled a 9. Not so poor that you smack him right upside the head. You do, however, smack it straight into both hands that are like outstretched in front of him. So you smash through both of those things as they don't necessarily get poured together, but they shatter onto the stage. Who wants to pull a quick find for me? And I'll actually ask Waffles if you don't mind.
I'll do it.
Can you like find me a nice like wild magic search table for real quick? Because I think there's enough chaos at this point in the night that I need one of those.
It's always pulled up in my life.
Meanwhile, a book is tucked away between a fake parable and a serving tray.
Very
All right.
nice.
I got you.
All right. Well, you're the one that broke the bottles.
Oh gosh.
You want to roll it?
Yeah.
Roll it.
And you know what? Just DM it to me if you don't mind.
Oh, I can't roll it out here.
Well, did you send me the table?
Oh no. You want me to send it to you?
Yes, please. I'm lazy.
Here you go.
Thank you. All right, roll me some beautiful bean footage.
I can't roll a D100. I probably can. All right, ready?
Do it.
22.
22. Potted plant.
Okay. So, this puff of like smoke, not dense smoke that stays in like the pink that was like prior, like billowing out from the side of the stage, which is still there, but like not enough to like do too much. Kind of as it smashes onto the ground, the fumes kind of like get right in his face, and he like because Loch, it's been a second since you've rolled something. Roll me a D100.
D100. I can do that. I can try. I can roll
/R.
Oops, wrong button. /R D 100. 42.
42. And
Potted plant.
that's actually exactly a potted plant.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
That's
so
amazing.
literally Splink starts coughing and is like whew, as the next one crashes into the ground and splashes onto him as that dissipates, and there's a potted plant on the stage.
Bless Blink.
Okay,
He died for the cause.
you tried to get his attention, and now there's a potted plant on the stage. And you kind of, from your angle, kind of saw him like transform into a potted plant.
Okay, like stares a second.
Maggie Moon leans forward and says, "Did you mean to miss?"
I did, but I'm a couple in, so. Okay, slams the gauntlet on the table, says, "Next round's on me."
Nice. Ooh,
Great,
drunk-
and
drunk
completely
kid.
ignoring
Nice.
the potted plant on the table as you were kind of there already. So at this point, both Paradigm and Parable are like running up to the stairs to like, they were trying to go and interfere with this, like, oh gods no, and they would not have gotten there in time. So they kind of get there to this potted plant. Then you call that out, and they kind of just, okay. And so one goes and just grabs the potted plant, tells the other one, like, get them a drink, and goes to take this potted plant elsewhere.
Just carrying it out. Come on.
Like, I am, like, so done with you, Splink. And then on the other side, so Captain Redfall was coming after you, which you stopped, Loch. Oh, and you stood there to be like, all right. And he just kind of looks at you. So there's this like analyzing look on his face as he's trying to be like, what the fuck are you up to? You can decide to make either a like deception if you want him to believe it, or like a diplomacy of a kind of like, hey, like oh, I'm just kidding. Like, how do you want to try to like what tone are you taking? To explain yourself.
Yeah, to explain myself. To explain myself to you, I mostly just wanted to get his attention and hopefully rile him up enough, because I feel like this confrontation sort of needs to happen, and I feel like Loch is fully ready for him to just get the tar beaten out of him, and he's like, better now here than out on the ocean. So Loch, let's see. Because
he looks at you and he asks outright, like, what are you up to, son?
And Loch, how would he say that? What would he say here? He kind of like cracks his neck and just like sort of like puts his like weapons down and just stands there and is just like, well, it was gonna be tense between us no matter what, so I figured just to get it out now. And he like puts, he like moves his head in such a way like inviting him to like hit him, just like this. Like,
there is a sort of nod of like, all right, that's what you want. And you think he's like, okay, he's nodding, and then he kind of just shakes his head and starts to turn around. And when you go to be like, okay, I guess not, he pivots again and just absolutely decks you across the face.
Loch was like, oh, sweet. I got away from that.
Because he didn't want you too ready. Let's
for sure.
see. Yes. See, this dice, I want you to, and this dice, by the way, you know the one, the Siren's Call dice, has been rolling exactly as needed for the chaos tonight, because it just rolled a 19.
Nice, that's way higher than my AC.
Which... yeah, I mean, I don't even have his plus, but that's already going to do it. So I
for sure.
Instead, is melee just like
it's usually just
a 1d4?
It's just usually just your strength modifier. But
just the strength modifier.
Whatever you want. You can make it roll dice too.
Unless you have like tavern brawler or something. I want to say it's a minimum of 1 plus your strength modifier or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so.
But you can roll for it. It's fine. Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Kill him.
Take 4.
Kill me.
Take 4 points. What you didn't see was the dagger clenched in his fist. 4 points of bludgeoning damage as the crowd goes wild. And I want you to just take a second and be the bird's eye view of this scene as chaos is unfolding on the stage. Absolute like nonsense is happening in this almost like siloed like table where the chairs are being toppled over, not far from where you are, Loch and Captain Redfall, but there's just this like, you hear things from that table and you're like, okay, there's obviously shenanigans going on, but nothing can prepare you for when you turn your head and look, because they are just beside themselves, like pointing out, it's like, no, don't you see this thing over here? It's like, I don't care about that thing that I can't see. What is this? And he's like holding up like the tiny little Tico and be like he was trying to struggle to get out and be like, and there's just like the one that had his drink spilled that didn't get to drink anything is like, what are you talking about? Trying to like calm the other two down. And Hex.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
You don't know. I could be anywhere. I'm the wind. And
So
so
I will say, if you look at the map, this corner of the tavern is closest to the little opening that connects to the inn.
Yeah, she just
across the way
is going to scamper away and go upstairs.
Towards the inn.
Yeah. So that's her hope. And through the pedal that you have in your hand or have on your person, Loch, you hear the game has reached its natural conclusion. We win.
And Loch just, he looks at the pedal, he's like, puts it back in his pocket. Like, I don't know how to use this thing.
Amazing.
He smiles, sort of, knowing.
Like, nod away from, like, you basically part from Redfall at that point.
I think just like to kind of put a bow on that. He after he like takes the hit, like straightens himself up, looks at Redfall and is like, all right, now that we've got that out of the way, and he like raises his like hand, like the little like let's do that thing.
Absolutely.
He's like, let's go find my mom, and then that's
thing to somebody after kissing them.
Yeah,
that is so weird.
There's a lot going on.
Perfect, because you do that within earshot of the folks that were around Redfall, and you go to walk away. Blissfully naive to the confusion and rumors that will circulate the Bluefin Tavern for weeks at this point.
We make an entrance. That's what we do.
Yeah. And Kay, you have a interesting evening with Maggie Moon that I will ask you, in what direction do you push the evening's conclusion, if at all?
Kay would be pushing the evening to a gentlemanly conclusion of like, you know, we've probably brushed hands, locked eyes, and that's about it. And then like Kay would say, well, off to business soon, but I hope to see you next time I'm around.
Delightful.
Maggie Moon kind of looks you over and says, I won't take this as a personal slight, but you better keep that promise or I might get offended. And she just winks at you as you also end the night.
Wink.
Don't
know what to do.
As soon as I say wink, everyone has to roll their custom wink roll.
Yeah. Oh, there, I did it. Yeah.
Nice. You did it. No. Yes. Perfect.
So, oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. No. Go for it.
As you all head in slightly different, differing intervals towards the inn that is adjacent. I will describe in just a moment. Actually, no. The entrance to this inn is actually, you see the inn as you go towards it, is a repurposed refinery. And it's made visible by 2 lanterns affixed, casting unsteady light against the monstrous, decommissioned machinery inside. Footsteps echo across the wet surface, and out from the gears and pulley wheels grow glistening violet moss. Faint blue fretwork outlines the periphery of the machine, and there's a wooden desk that stands in front of several large pipes that disappear into the floor beneath it. An innkeeper sits on the other side of the desk, and it seems to be this orc that takes a long puff from a smoking pipe and is reading a book. There's rows of silver keys hanging on rusted hooks behind him, and stairs to the sleeping chambers above. And when you do walk in with quick minimum conversation, you identify yourselves as the individuals that Mayfire had already booked rooms towards. There are 2 rooms for the 2 of you. whether you take one room or 2 rooms. I would like to know, because I do believe Loch and Hex get there first, and Kay is there afterwards. So, do Loch and Hex each take a room?
No, we
And
have
don't
to
forget
read our
Langston
cool
is
book
with you.
that we got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. We're
But also-
definitely book
Go ahead.
friends. Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
We're in a book club now.
Yeah.
All right. So
But
you take one key.
Locke
Yeah.
wouldn't take a room. Like if it's a choice between everyone like getting their own room and there's
Yeah.
an extra person, Locke would. He sleeps in the streets and on boats all the time. He's fine sleeping outside.
Yeah, and these are
yeah.
like the double bedded in rooms, basically.
Yeah.
So
No, it's like I need you to understand that the energy that is coming off of this woman is just she is exhilarated by this tricksome experience that we have had. It is like joy, like the purest form of joy in a way that's like, you know, when you get in a giggle fit with your friends and it's like intoxicating even when it's about nothing, like that is where she is, and it's probably a little fiendish, but like that's just where she is. And it's like in this way she allows herself to get close to you and like be like, we have to read this, oh my god, we have to read it. Victory drink, victory read, page turner. Like she's just out of control, excited to have an ally in this.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Heights.
So you grab one of the keys
Yeah.
for a double-bedded room between the 2 of you, and you take the book. You have the innkeeper agree to bring you up some drinks, celebratory drinks,
Oh, absolutely.
and head to your room.
Mhm.
As you climb up the stairs, focused on this book, absolutely, which soon to be causes chaos out there as well to when they find their book missing. But that's for another
We're not there.
concern.
Right.
And you do kind of, as you go up, the only thing that pulls you just a touch away from the entrancement of this is as you climb these stairs, this place is interesting. Like I mentioned in the description, it is a repurposed refinery. There is cogs and machines behind glass and all sorts of like repurposed things, but you see from the cogs and the wheels that had been worked but are at this point left to sort of like to the elements, to moisture, to what would normally be like mold and mildew, but in this case is this purple algae-like substance. You climb up into your rooms, and Hex, you sneeze.
Yeah.
And remembering that, man, you've been stuffy for a while now, and it's just a little bit worse in here for you. But you have a book, and that's way more important.
Yeah.
So I will ask between the 2 of you. Oh, wait, no, please go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How are you figuring out what this book is?
Yeah, she's gonna open it up and try and read some now that we're like behind closed doors, like beers open, like sitting cross-legged on the bed across from each other, like yeah, and
So-
she just opens it.
This oversized tome is a hodgepodge of countless books and scrolls and journals. And when you look at the cover on, like the title on the cover, it reads an exhaustive account of infinity.
Whoa.
And there is just a bunch of odd, random, different information from within one page to the next. There's a page that is half of a page and half clearly stitched together, a different page, and one talks about the fine details of carved woodworking, and then the next is half of a recipe for how to make a cake. And it is a hodgepodge of information, but as you handle it and as you look at it, you do feel that there is something more to this, and potentially of a magical nature.
She looks to you and she says, "Do you know what a shipwright is?"
Yes.
Explain.
Oh, okay.
Educate me.
I'm pretty. This is me now just talking above the table before I sound like an absolute buffoon. A shipwright is someone who like actually fixes a ship, right?
Builds ships.
Yeah, builds shit. Yeah.
We should ask our Navy boy over here.
Yeah. Like, builds ships and whatnot.
Build
right?
ships.
Cool. Well, Hex shipwright is someone you might. This is what I thought at first. Someone who writes about ships. No. That's a common misconception. A shipwright is someone who builds ships. That's it. There's nothing fancy or more about that.
So nerds, got it.
Yes,
and
absolutely. Ocean nerds.
Yeah, she continues to flip through this and think about it, and she says, "I think I need to take some time with this book. It's full of so much, nothing that really makes sense altogether, but might make more sense if I spend more time with it."
Tune with it, if you will.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, I
It's
will
gross,
say,
and so is she. So what can
well, I
happen?
mean, not all of it is like gross. There's just paper and scrolls and random things, but there's also a dubious origin of certain aspects of it. Sure.
In my book, it is bound. In my imagination, it was bound in flesh. I don't know where I got that.
I don't know either, but I
my
like
own
it.
imagination.
It's like the most terrifying like manual of just a ship. It's just like
Is it because I said stitched and restitched a numerous amount of times, and you just think of like that?
Yeah. And go ahead.
Are you an intelligence-based caster?
You know,
you're a warlock, right?
am not.
You're
I'm a
charisma.
blood hunter, and my intelligence is fairly important to my hunting stat,
Ooh.
but not my attacking stat.
Okay. There's an aspect of like metagaminess to this that I will let you all decide what you want to do with it. It is a tome of an assortment of knowledge, and so it will have to do from your best guess. I will give it to you fully when somebody attunes to it.
Yeah.
But it will revolve around knowledge and like that type of stuff. Now, I also know you're very good with like history checks and things like that. Like you do a lot of intelligence-based stuff.
Think...
Are you also intelligence-based, or is that something else for Artificer?
Nah, I'm intelligence-based.
All right, so she's gonna save it. Do I think that like if I attune to this, it's gonna like take away whatever magic it has, and like, or
no? I think anything that requires attunement can then be attuned by somebody else. So if for tonight you attune to it and decide later on that it's something better suited for Kay, we can do that in character.
Yeah, I think she understands that. Well, there are things that I want to say for in character, but yeah, she understands that. She's greedy in the moment and wants to know what it will do for her.
Very, very, very
and
valid.
then but like from above table, obviously, like I want it to be in the hands that it will help us.
I love balancing it to make sure that it's like still in character though, because Kay wasn't really involved in it. You got it. Like you definitely should like reap the benefits in the immediate. Absolutely.
Well, she has a lot of curiosities about Kay, and she noticed that Kay was like tempted but didn't want to get involved in the thing. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't necessarily want. What is on
it sounded like she couldn't more than
she want to. The phrasing was very interesting on that.
So let's go. I'll give it to y'all because like that's half the fun. An exhaustive account of infinity is a wondrous item.
Oh.
Very rare and requires attunement. This bulky tome holds the collective knowledge of each of its many owners. When you become attuned to the book, so this is you are saying you're attuning to this, by the way, just as a heads up. This is you learned this from attuning to it.
Yep.
As you notice that some of your herbalistic knowledge and other pieces are there in the back of the book.
Oh.
Because your knowledge transfers to its enchanted vellum pages.
Ew.
The information on the pages rearranges on its own after you've attuned to it in response to your questions, providing the most appropriate knowledge it possesses.
Yo, I created a book like this once and my party tried to kill each other over it.
I remember that story!
Except that one was a talking book and it always wrote the answers down for you, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now, after spending an hour studying this book, your intelligence score increases by 2 to a maximum of 20 until your next long rest. So you do have to spend an hour every day if you want to do that. And then additionally, you may search the tome for knowledge as an action, revealing information according to my discretion. It's fascinating and can be interesting for all sorts of people. However, I wanted to check how that would happen in character, and I think it's absolutely fascinating that a lot of Hex's knowledge now appear on these vellum pages and may affect their decision making in the future.
Yeah. She like sees her. She's like sitting by the fire. I'm assuming there's like a fireplace in our little room. I'm decorating.
There is now.
Yeah, there is now. And
what color are the curtains?
I feel like they're like patched up and ratty, like homespun.
Yes, great, thank you. Good.
And yeah, so she's sitting there and she like is flipping the pages and finally the hour happens and it clicks over and then she starts to see drawings of the hut where she lived and information on hags begins to populate the page, tricks all with different names to them, all sorts of like things that she's been a part of. Also, God, what else would be on there?
Herbalism and identification of plants and all sorts of things.
As she's like trying to look away from it, but like staring into the dark mirror of everything she doesn't want to talk about with people most of the time. On the last page, drawn in like beautiful, wispy, like artistic style, is this tall, intimidating purple-skinned drow covered in different mechanical pieces and things that look a lot like Kay's armor, and just this horrifying grin. And as this forms, she's like trying to shut the book and trying to like pull her own self away from it, and as if moving on the page, in sort of a jump scare, the drow like leaps at her and there's like a spray of blood across the page, and she shuts it.
And how much of that is there actually in the morning? Like if you were to look at that page again, and how much of that was something more?
Yeah.
You don't know. And this probably is after maybe Loch has gone to bed, or is minding, or at the very least, it's over an hour, so whatever, even if you're in the other corner, doing whatever.
I think if you like slam the book, he would like look up to you, but like
make an insight.
Okay, that's my money page. Insight, where are you? Boom.
2 gold. I rolled a 2 gold.
A 10. The most average.
Yeah.
He was half asleep.
I think you
now
can
I will
tell...
say.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do you want to just give, or do you want to roll again?
You know what? I'm gonna roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you are a little out of it, so if you're gonna be deceiving, can you do that at disadvantage for me?
Yeah. Okay. So it's not good. That's a 9.
Oh.
So I think at this point, she's drunk enough to where, like, you see, like, a flash of real fear across her face. You see her, like, reach up to, like, her neck and feel her, like, the book is, like, thrown to the ground, and she's, like, feeling around her wrists, and very much seems to have been transported in that moment to something she didn't want to relive.
I think Locke would stand up, like sort of assess the situation, stand up, pick the book up, and like move it like away from you, and like just like throw like a shirt or something over it.
Palantir
like,
that shit.
Yeah.
Do you let him go to pick up the book though?
She.
Is there just a moment?
There's a moment where she steps forward, but I think because you rolled higher, you get there faster than she does.
And I don't think he would notice your reaction there.
Yeah.
And then he would just like, oh, sorry, go back.
Yeah, go ahead.
He would just sit down. We've all got things in the past. If you need anything, and he like lays down and puts the covers on.
Yeah.
I'll be here in the morning.
Yeah, and she just kind of stands there. Yeah. She stands there in the kind of flickering of the flames from the fire, and is just kind of like, it's her on one side of the room looking over your like kind of lump of a form in the bed, and just the book just underneath the cape or whatever you laid on top of it, and that's kind of like the end of it, just her being haunted by the threat of that.
Ooh, very cool.
Amazing. And as that is the night in that one room, as you leave Maggie Moon to head to the inn as well, you are met with Langston, who was out and about walking outside with Ida, and you should have meet up with him as you make your way, finding the last key to the last available room. And anything in particular before you also go to bed?
Actually, no, like, this would be I don't know if it would be weird because they haven't spent long enough together, but Kay goes to bed, like, rather early. Just playing off the exhaustion and having drank and everything. Like, saying it's like 10 or something, like, she's like, all right, we're in the room, I'm out.
Perfect. And with that, the night comes to a close. And the following morning, you awake to early morning light, and the noise of bustling dock movement, which started rather early, for those that may not be accustomed to that. And there's the hustle and bustle, but as you're waking up and going through your morning routines, I would like you all to make perception checks for me.
Nah.
No, thank you. That's a 9 plus 6, 15. Not great.
15 for me.
Hey, double 15s.
I'm trying.
All right.
I'm trying. 2.
Perfect.
2.
It takes you a moment because there's a lot of noise and there's usual like bustling and stuff going on. Also, you're right by the inn, but Hex and Loch, your room where it's situated, you hear it a little bit earlier on as there is more. It's not just the bustle of a city. There seems to be a commotion going on outside. And going down before the rest of the group, going down out to the outside of the inn, and outside of the tavern, you see a crowd gathered around something at the side of the inn. As you go to take a closer look, it's a figure slumped over. Wait, that's a figure you recognize. Dallas, the bandit that you had gotten last earlier the previous morning, is just there slumped. And then you realize that there's blood on his shirt that seems to have been spread and just dried, and that man is dead.
That was the one that we let go?
That is the one you let go. And he's there, dead, been there for a few hours at best at a quick glance. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh,
Oh no! My feelings are hurt.
There's been a murder.